Game Changer Wrestling. I put this second here in the order here. They had a really big weekend. I don't know how much of the shows you got to see, Wai, but I saw most of Saturday's show, and that was highlighted by the announcement that they will be going to the Hammerstein Ballroom on Sunday, January 23rd, which I'm sure they are going to be marketing and promoting as their biggest show to date. The Hammerstein Ballroom, for past wrestling shows can fit in the neighborhood of like 1,800 people. I don't think they will have any problem filling that for this show. That show on Saturday, I just thought it was such a fun show, and it just feels like they are hitting on so many cylinders at the moment. It feels like a really hot product that video just to announce going to the Hammerstein Ballroom, like that to me is how you market an event. It's making it feel like this is historic. You want to be at this show. You want to see this show because it's a major step in our growth as a company. And then you had Jon Moxley and Nick Gage murder one another right after this. So a feel-good moment all around.
They hit on all the cylinders. They hit each other with the cylindrical tubes and the rectangular glass panes.
Oh my God.
It was, I at least caught the main event. I caught highlights of most of the show, but yeah, the main event was what I was really kind of tuning in for. And I think it delivered definitely on the gore and the bloodiness that you would expect from a match of that type and of that hype. I will say though, as a match, it was like, I mean, not that like Nick Gage matches are like, these sort of classics, but there were moments where I really felt like it was more of just the show of like, oh, you let me cut you, I'll let you cut me, rather than like this kind of very intense back and forth battle that I have seen, some great examples of within GCW as far as the deathmatch wrestling goes. So I don't know if like there was suspicion, at least among the online fan base, that like Gage might have been hurt at some point, and the finish felt a little bit awkward as a result. But
it did certainly feel abrupt, the finish, even with like the spectacular looking like paradigm shift off the turnbuckle, but it did kind of come out of nowhere.
Do you think that they'll do that match again in Hammerstein? What is the main event in Hammerstein?
I think it has to be Moxley in some form. I mean, the thing is with like a match that we just saw with him and Gage, like I say this and immediately it sounds silly, but like what more can you escalate this to? Like where, like
exploding.
I guess explosions. Yeah,
like
maybe a Giotto rocket can make its way, courtesy of Atsushi Onita. Get your ringside tickets for the Giotto rocket.
Yeah, for people unaware, this is so Atsushi Onita is bringing back FMW, now called FMWE, or at least this iteration.
They've done several shows now. Yeah.
Well, they already have been back.
Yeah, they have come back. This is for an upcoming event.
And the latest thing he has promised for a match is a missile that he has designed.
It will fire 100 feet in the air and then land in the ring. I mean, what could go wrong?
No, nothing. Are you kidding me? Yeah, but I don't think they're getting a missile into the Hammerstein Ballroom.
It's tough.
It's a great question.
You got to be vaxxed to get into the buildings in New York. So I don't know how rockets are going to sneak their way in.
Interesting.
But I certainly getting back to your question, I would say Moxley for sure. And I mean, maybe it's a Japanese import for some kind of like, I don't think this is going to be one where it's going to be a big struggle to sell 1,800 tickets to this show. Like you want all the key players, and I would say one or two international talents that come over that are a novelty, especially for a Moxley kind of dream match, death match scenario. That's where I would lean off the top of my head.
Well, what would that name be, deathmatch wise?
Oh, Kobayashi. Abdullah Kobayashi.
Is that a big enough name? Sorry, it doesn't really elicit much.
This is the dude that Damien did his doc about and just focused on. This was the man I was introduced to the full extent of the, what did he call them? The Tenzons or the Kenzons? The fucking bolts that got stomped into his forehead.
Yeah, I don't recall at the moment, but I don't know if there's a big enough name other than maybe Onita himself. Deathmatch wise, if you wanted to promote something,
you could do Moxley and Onita.
Yeah, maybe. But even then, I think Gage versus Moxley 2 would be bigger than that. But beyond that, it's like, we're just talking, I think, a very loyal GCW fan base. And all they have to do is create one or two more of these great videos from Giancarlo D'Atamo, the mastermind behind much of GCW's creative, and the guy behind the Vladimir documentary, as well as the Tom McGee documentary, of course, as well. And I
Very
believe
talented guy.
The Ruby Riot videos as well. Like, he's just done a whole lot of shit. And this video that was done, I thought was so good, of simply these GCW wrestlers going into the Hammerstein Ballroom. I mean, you don't know it's the Hammerstein to start, but you just see their close-ups of their faces as they're looking up into the signature roof of this place. And voiceovers talking about just the detractors for not just GCW but also just their entire careers, including Matt Cardona being a part of this as well. It just looks so damn cool and made you absolutely want to be a part of this show. So I mean, I have no doubt that their promotional power will be top notch for this event.
I really like Mick Foley on commentary. Like, you could tell he was blown away by the reception he got, which was not surprising, but you could see it meant a lot to him. And he was all in on the death match. It wasn't like he was like embarrassed by this or just not up to, like, he was totally into this. He put his own personal experiences in it. I thought he was very good on commentary. I think that, Mick Foley having some kind of, role with GCW in the future would be, doing commentary. We never really got that extended Foley commentary run when he got put on SmackDown. I mean, he was gone so quickly after he got paired with Jim Ross and went to TNA that we never got to hear him have a regular presence on commentary. And this was just a one-off, and I was very impressed by him.
It was certainly like a nice, to kind of have the prestige of his involvement with deathmatch wrestling. In really
a big star endorsed this company and this kind of signature match for them, and like he came off like a fan of it, and that makes your product, I think, come off well.
Well, he came out speaking, and it almost seemed like he got emotional hearing the reaction that he had here. And, the first thing he said when he got on the microphone was that he wishes his children were here to watch this reaction of him. And it almost felt like to me that he was caring so much about this hardcore audience's reaction. And when I say hardcore, I mean like the most passionate wrestling fans. These are some of the most passionate wrestling fans that exist in the country, and their reaction to him. So it, to me, added a whole lot to, I think, how a viewer looks at GCW when they see that somebody who's wrestled at WrestleManias and has just done shows in countless different venues considered the reaction to this crowd so special. I wonder if he'll be involved a bit more. I do continue to have, like, I know we were talking about deathmatch wrestling, but of course, like, I can't watch this and really not mention some concern for safety. Like, ultimately, I hope, like, as GCW stock grows, as they continue to run bigger venues, as more people start to pay attention to them, I really do hope that they are paying that much closer attention to their safety, just procedures.
I really hated that chair shot Effie took in the Matt Cardona match. I mean, that to me, I have no place for that in 2021. I really hated that spot.
It might sound really silly to like say that I want to see a safe death match, but I mean, as much as I think is possible, this company, the more attention that they're going to get, the more scrutiny they're going to get, and the more people like a Mick Foley, like I do think it's a risk that he is taking being associated with a company like this, because he is a much more mainstream name. And should anything like go terribly wrong at these shows, like, he's putting his face all over it. And I'm not saying this to protect Mick Foley, but really to protect the company, because I want to see, like, the fact that this company exists and they're able to be so creative with their alternative way of thinking is so needed. It's so necessary in the world of professional wrestling that in many ways feels very stagnant, and every company kind of feels like a clone of each other. So I want this company to thrive, just because I think their way of promotion is so cool, and I just want everything to be done as safely as possible.
There was also a big angle where the Briscoes showed up, which notable to see an ROH team get the go ahead to come do GCW, and they're going to challenge Mance Warner and Matthew Justice on. So their next weekend of shows is October 22nd and 23rd in LA. They're going to do Bloodsport on the Friday night. And Saturday night, it's their War Ready card, which will have that tag title match. And then what they've announced so far, Psycho Clown is going to debut, John Gresham against Alex Zane, and Minoru Suzuki versus Nick Gage.
Damn. Wow. Yikes.
Dude, we're coming up, like, by the time he finishes that show, Suzuki will have almost been here 2 months in the States.
Just move here. Come on. Like, I'm sure we can get this guy a green card, or the American can get him a green card.
It's been a lengthy stay he's had here. Yeah.
Oh, he might as well just stay. Come on. I think this country will gladly accept him. Thunder Rosa also making an appearance.
That's right. Thunder Rosa got thrown into the scramble match as well. It was like a pretty noteworthy show on the Saturday. And then they came back on Sunday with Minoru Suzuki and Joey Janela and Alex Colon, Jimmy Lloyd in the top matches on that one for the Aftermath.